Thank you. Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, who also happens to be the Vice President of CSIR, perhaps one of the most illustrious set of laboratories all across the country, and as Professor Dhar was saying, perhaps the best place to work. Professor Ranjana Agrawal ji, Professor Bibi Dhar, Shri Puneet Kumar ji, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are here in this hall, and children who've been part of a selection process and are going to be felicitated this afternoon. Congratulations to all of you. कार्यक्रम का नाम प्रतिभा उत्सव दिया गया है. Let me begin by saying that we witnessed 2 or 3 things in the recent past which has caught the imagination of the country. All of us witnessed the landing of Chandrayaan on the moon, the soft landing part of it. And then on 2nd of September, Aditya L1, L for Lagrange point 1, it lifted off to showcase the prowess of India, the technological prowess of India to study the chromosphere, the corona of the sun. 8th, 9th and 10th, we are going to have the final summit of the G20. And again, you will find that all these 3 are bound by a common thread of India's rising eminence. Chandrayaan, to a large extent, shows how homegrown meritocracy has arrived. If you saw the room where all the scientists were there, and I could see the Honorable Minister was there, he was watching it himself. One could see a demonstration of women power. I think more than half the scientists in that particular hall were the control room were women. The second thing which we have taken note of it very proudly, that the meritocracy which you saw in that particular hall is eminently homegrown. It is India grown. People who've come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities may not have gone to the IITs, have managed to make India proud. And this is the message of this. What does the G20 say? The G20 says, and it's a manifestation of India's diplomatic prowess, but I would say, the Honorable Minister was just mentioning that 42 heads of states are coming. And I'm sure that it will go flawlessly. It is the managerial prowess of India to be able to manage something on a world scale, and it definitely sends home the message that we have arrived. Let me say a few things to you regarding the National Education Policy 2020, because at the back of it is the capacity to be able to let a child bloom into what his or her innate strength is. As we know that we are all differently abled, and our education system and our social system must allow us and give us enough space for that special ability in us to flower. Are we doing that? And I guess the National Education Policy eminently means to do this. It's the DNA of the Indian society. How the Indian society is going to shape up in the next 25 years, which the Honorable Prime Minister calls the Amrit Kal, is there in the National Education Policy. It talks about integrative education. It talks about holistic education. And as we all know, that knowledge is not divisible. It is because of our own limitations, we have divided knowledge into so many parts. So nature does not differentiate between physics and chemistry. It's we who have done it. So The NEP aims to look at knowledge as holistic. And again, we are wanting to move away from learning by rote because it kills creativity. Experiential learning is what we are talking about. And I would want to say this, that eventually how you learn and what you learn to a very large extent is dependent on the way you are assessed. So assessment is extremely important. I would say that anyone who's part of the education system as of now, I would say this is a godsend opportunity for all of us. Because in view of the national education policy, the national curriculum framework has been framed. It is brought out, it is out in the public domain. NCERT is constructing all the textbooks from class 3 to 12. And ultimately, how would you assess that the national education policy is a revolutionary document? You'll assess it by holding the book in your hand. The book is a manifestation of everything which has gone into the making of that particular policy. And when you sit with that book in a particular class and the teacher is also pedagogically inclined, this is what is going to create magic. So we need to have the best teachers. And we are today is 6th of September. Yesterday, the Honorable President of India, she has felicitated the 75 teachers who've been awarded the National Teachers Award. So teachers' pedagogy, teachers' skills, outstanding books in a classroom which makes learning happy. It makes it colorful, it makes it joyful, is what the national education policy is aiming at. I would not want to take a lot of your time, but I would also want to leave a few thoughts with you. Merit is also sociologically constructed. It's not something which comes very innate to us, as many of us at times may feel that I am naturally meritocratic. That perhaps reflects the kind of opportunities I have had in life. So this sociological construct must be made available to everyone. And I think I see a lot of teachers in this hall who are running schools, who are running institutions. I think we need to talk about it. We need to create an enabling environment in which every child gets an opportunity to ensure that what is innate in him, it gets reflected and it gets built up. For those of you who are interested in reading, I think sometime back I read a very interesting book written by a professor at Yale. He's called Michael Sandel, and the book is very provocatively named The Tyranny of Merit. So if you get an opportunity, you please read that. Merit, again, I would reiterate, is a sociological construct, and we must ensure that we bring out the merit in all our students. I'm extremely happy to be here to share with you the national education policy. And the last thing which I would want to say is that the national education policy, it mandates identification of children who are bright, identification of children who are specially gifted. And for that, the Department of School Education and Literacy is in the process of constructing a policy which we call the Pradhan Mantri Innovative Learning Program. This is what goes by the name of Dhruv. We had launched it earlier, but now we are trying to make it more institutionalized, create a platform in which we identify 500 students who are the best of the best in the country and provide nurturance to them till the time they are age 17, so as to make them bloom, so the larger society also gets to benefit from it. I thank Professor Agrawal for giving me this opportunity to be here with you all and speak to you. I'm extremely delighted to be with the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and I'm waiting eagerly to hear him, what he has to say to us this afternoon. My best wishes to all the children who have received the awards. May God bless you all. Thank you.